Hey, what is going on, guys? It is Huckleberry, and today I'm bringing you a Claymore and Bouncing Betty tips and tricks video. This is how I use Bouncing Betties and Claymores to make them more effective. And I picked the map Standoff because I think it allows a lot of different presentations of the Bouncing Betties and Claymores. We'll start off first with the Bouncing Betties, and then we'll move into the Claymores. I cover all of the main rooms of this map and tell you where I like to place those for maximum effectiveness. So we'll get started here. So the first thing, and just to cover this domination point, there's all this grass right here, and I highly recommend you throw a Bouncing Betty. It's a very high traffic area, even in a team deathmatch game, and it's very hard to see those Betties. I wouldn't advise a Claymore there though, because it's kind of it can't cover the full area. Now right here, what I like to do is I like to make sure the Bouncing Betty is not visible as you come through the room. As you can see there, I throw it to the right. It's a good little spot when they're coming through. They're not going to see it. And you also want to give yourself some room beyond the door frame so that it triggers the moment they cross over the threshold of the door. You don't want it right by the door because they can actually run past it very quickly. Now this is my favorite spot to put Bounty Betties. It's right on the staircase, and it's not on the landing, and it's not all the way on the top. It's right there on the staircase, and the reason for that is when you run up, you're not going to, when they even duck, it's still going to hit their head. So it triggers as they come across that corner, and then it'll get them even if they duck down. Now right here, they have a lot of visibility over to the left when you come in here. So I like to throw the Bouncing Betty just to the right. It's a little dark there in the corner. They don't normally see that, and then it triggers the moment they come in the door and it goes off. So that's a good spot right there, and they'll usually get killed with it. Now on the staircase, well, first on the left here, I recommend that you also put it over a little bit over here, just by that table. And when you're coming through, I'll show you both angles. As you're coming through here, you don't see it until it's too late. You kind of come into the door. Now, if you put it here, you don't see it from the left side, but you do see it from this angle. So that's why I don't put it on the left. I like to put it on the right, just in front of that table. And again, make sure you give yourself some clearance from the doorway so that it can trigger. I also recommend with the Bouncing Betties that you throw down shock charges. I'll show you examples of that later. I use them in conjunction with the Betties and the Claymores. Now again, this is a staircase option for you for a Betty. I like to cover the doorways first, but if you want to cover the staircase as a failsafe, I like to put it right there on the second or third step down. And again, when they cross that Betty, even if they duck, when it explodes at its highest point, it could still kill the guy after he gets up to the top of the staircase. Now, I don't like to put them in this hallway because, see that door frame, you can get around, you can get through there so fast. I have lightweight and extreme conditioning on to show you how fast the guy can be, but that's why I don't put it in that little hallway, because they can easily run past it and be protected by that door frame. Now over here, this is a tough room to put down stuff because they have a lot of visibility, but I'll show you my favorite spots. I like when I come in this way to have it on the left, right in front of that cash register, right there in the shadows a little bit, and then coming in from this angle, I also like to have it to the right. I don't like to throw them to the left because normally people are coming in and they're sticking closer to the bar or cashier area. So I like the Betty to be on the left coming in from this door, and on the right coming in from the other door. And again, throw down a shock charge in front of it. It'll slow them down, and it'll make it harder for them to duck or run past it. Now again, all of this is kind of pointless if they have engineer on, but when they don't have engineer, you'll find that it works really well. Okay, so on this area of the map, again, they have a lot of visual to the left when they come through this doorway. You put it there, they're going to see it as they come through. If you put it right there, just to the right, they're not going to see it as they come through, and that's important because some people now are recognizing the red dot on the Betties, and that's enabling them to duck a little bit faster. So then coming through this doorway, the field of vision is mostly to the left, so I like to throw the Betty right there by the red toolbox there, and that usually works pretty well. So if I have two, I'll cover both doorways, and then I also like to throw like a shock charge or a Betty on the staircase if I have one. Again, I like to throw it near the top of the staircase, not all the way up at the top, so that then when they do cross it, they will their head will still go off. So that's a good spot right there. And I also like to shock charge the the left side of that staircase. Gives me an early warning if they do run past the Betties or the Claymores. The shock charge gives me that one last final warning that they're coming up. Alright, so this is a very high traffic area. You could really get some good kills if you put some Betties down around here. It's quick to throw them, and as they're coming through these areas, they're probably not looking. So again, this is probably the highest traffic area of the map, and you'll definitely get some kills, and the grass helps hide those Betties. Now coming through here, they have mostly a view to the right, to the left, and you'd think, you know, throw it to the left here. As long as you can get onto that carpet, then when they come through, they're not going to see it as easily. So that's a decent spot just to the left there. I also like it, I will throw them in this room. Normally the people come in and they're looking at that staircase, so failing to throw these Betties. I like to throw it a little bit to the left, and they're probably not looking that way when they come in. The problem is the people coming the other way will see that Betty right away. And again, my usual strategy, putting one on the staircase. So, yeah, but this is a real high traffic area. If you can get some Betties down and some shock charges into this room, it should work well for you. So just keep in mind, make sure you put the shock charges near the front of the door. Keep the Betties back a little bit so that they have more time to trigger. Keep in mind that the Betty has a radius, like a circle, and you want them to trigger the moment they enter the front of the circle, so that by the time they get to the back of the circle radius, it explodes. If you put it too close to the door frames, I found that it's very easy for them to run right past. And yeah, that works pretty well. Just throwing a shock charge down at the doorway, and you can cover your right side there, and you can hang out on that staircase if you want to camp. Alright, so now this is the Claymore part of the video. Now I wouldn't, in Domination, Claymoring domination points can be difficult because you can see right here I can still take this dom point. The Claymore only covers a 30-degree angle or whatever it is, so you're not going to be able to get a lot of people on dom points unless they're really well placed. I like to put them down right here on the right. Normally they're not looking to the right when they're coming in, and they're headed towards the staircase anyway, so that works well right there. And then on this staircase I like to do the opposite. I like to go to that side of it, and when they come through, it'll trigger. If you see, I turn it just a little bit because I want them to come in and have the left part of the Claymore. If you're setting the Claymore down, you want the left part of the Claymore to be kind of pointing at the corner of the door. This is a good spot right here. They're going to come up this staircase. The staircase kind of slows them down a little bit, and then it's going to explode right in their face. And I also like to put it right here on the top of the staircase, and then that's just right at head level when they come up, and that usually gets them too. Alright, so back to this room for the Claymores. Good spot for a Claymore is right there, kind of same as the Betty. You want to make sure you again have some room for the guy to come into the room, and then it'll trigger. Same thing here. I recommend the same spot for the Claymore. That's a little too far back, so move it up just a little bit, and when they come in, it should trigger. So as you can see, there's kind of a theme here to how I place these. I really like Claymores on staircases. If you can get them right at the top of the staircase, angled down, it'll trigger every time pretty much, unless they have on like Engineer or something. So again, here's just another quick look at that, where I put the Claymores. I'm going to set up the whole room here, set those two up right there, and then throw a shock charge. Again, I like to throw them right into the sides of the walls, and then they don't see them on the staircase. Okay, so for this room, I'm going to actually put the Claymore over on this side of the wall. And if you remember, I had the Betty near the cash register, but because they're coming into the room at this angle, I want the left corner of this Claymore, the laser, to be pointing right at the door. So you can see as I come in, I'm already inside of the lasers. So that's really important that you line the lasers up. Again, right here you can see I line up the left laser to the left edge of the door, and then when I come in, it's ready to trigger. Alright, and yeah, that's a decent room. You don't get as many kills with it, but I can't seem to throw my shock charges very well. So I'll set this room up too, put a shock charge there, put a Claymore there, and put another one right here. And this room is basically a death trap. Alright, so the final room, I believe this is the final room, I'm not sure, with the claymores. We put the one right there. And that works pretty well. Put it right on the carpet, aimed at the door. You could try to put it right here on the edge of this carpet. That might work too. They might see it as they come in. If they're coming in from the left. That's why I like to put it on the left there. So for this area, I don't like to put it right in front of the door because again they can see it. So that's good right there. You can catch them as they're coming in. They're going to be looking at the staircase. So that works well, except for people coming the other way. They're going to see that claymore sitting there. So in that case, you can just claymore the staircase and maybe throw a, as you can see when they come up, that's going to get them right away. And you can throw a shock charge right here and set this room up right here with a claymore and right here. So it's kind of up to your interpretation, but that's how I like to defend these rooms. I found that it works well for me. I wish I had a buddy who could, actually run into these claymores and we could see it in action. But I wanted to give you guys a good picture of where I put these things. Maybe in the future I'll do a video and actually show you the results. But again, these positions have been working for me, so I thought I would show it to you. And here's the last room. Putting the claymore right there. They kind of see this laser as they come in, but maybe they're not paying attention. You could just put this one right in front of the doorway if you want. Typically they run around that corner pretty quick. But yeah, or you could set it back a little bit. And then similar shock charge position. Really kind of the same theme throughout. So let me know if this works for you guys. If you guys have other tips, if you think it works better to do it a different way, I'd love to know. Always appreciate the feedback. And I hope you guys liked the video. Please like the video if you enjoyed it, and if you've seen some of my other videos and like those and you'd like to subscribe, that would be awesome. And thanks for watching. I'll talk to you later. Bye.